So, the lap time is 52.9, not the super pooper alien lap time, not the best out of the best, but it's more than decent, and let me walk you through this lap. So, for the first corner, our braking reference is 150 meters mark. It is important to mention that braking reference and braking mark, it's not the same as braking point. Braking point is when you exactly start to apply the brakes, and your braking mark could be anything. Your braking point could be a little bit further, a little bit closer from the braking mark, depending on the weather, on the wind, on your fuel level, on the setup, and so on and so forth. So basically what I'm aiming for is 150 meter mark. It is important to not to be greedy in this sector and start applying the brakes a little bit earlier, so you can actually rotate the car and gain the time on the exit, because I see often that guys are trying to brake it like 100, 120. It's too late. I mean, you will make this corner, but you will gain a little bit of time in the entry and you will lose a lot of time on the exit. So don't be greedy here. Start braking at approximately 150 mark. And when you already started to brake, you should switch your eyes. You should target with your eyes the cone, and you should try to almost hit this cone. So once again, you passed 150 mark, you started to brake, and you already looking. You don't look here. You're already looking with your eyes for this cone. You're looking there, you see the cone, cool. Now you can understand when exactly to start rotating the car. So you almost hit this cone. It's heavy braking here, you try to go really close to this cone, and you should start applying the throttle already like here. So at the apex. Again, if you would brake later, then you won't be able to hit the cone and you won't be able to open the throttle here. So again, not being greedy on entry, turning, and already when we are approaching the cone, we are opening the throttle and trying to bring car to the very right of the track. We are taking, I guess I took all this track, almost. And so next corner, some guys are just releasing the throttle. Some are braking a little bit, some are braking a lot. Basically, you have two good options here, either just to release a throttle, and you can make it quite fast, or you should apply just a tiny amount of brake, not to slow car down, but to help car with the rotation. I prefer to give a little bit of brake here. This way I can control how my car rotates, and you should really cut a lot from this left side. You can see how much I cut from this. So basically my left tires almost hit the ground here, and that's exactly the way you want this corner to drive through. So cutting everything here, opening the throttle, and it's very important that you should not just throw your leg on the throttle. You should open it gradually and really carefully, because if you're doing everything right and you just hit the throttle 0-100 really quick, most probably you will spin. If you can open the throttle 100%, it means that you're going to slow here. So you should align your speed in a way that you can't really just drop the throttle. So opening throttle gradually, taking all of the track here on the left side. If your left tires are behind the white line, you're good. If your tires cross the white line, it's a track cut. So trying to use all of the track but not cut. And when we're here, we're already aiming with our eyes to the next corner. Braking reference is the end of this green material on the track, but our braking point is approximately a car before, maybe car and a half. You should really feel that. You start applying the brakes, and you can see that in the first corner it was a heavy braking, and it was for quite a while I holded my brake at a high level, braking. But here we're not really holding the brakes. So you hit the brakes and you start releasing it quite immediately. So you hit the brakes and releasing, and you rotate the car in this corner. You trim really a lot. You cut really a lot of this corner, and you start accelerating already approximately here, basically. And another thing, what's very important, is not trying to drive this sector too fast, because there is a straight line afterwards, after these two corners, and you want to prioritize the exit. You want to prioritize the straight line. If you will be trying to go too quick here, you won't be able to rotate the car, you won't be able to stay on a straight line. You will gain some, I don't know, half a tenth, maybe 1/10 here, because you're going fast. But in a straight line you will lose a lot of time. So you shouldn't hit too much of throttle. You maintain some throttle, but you prioritize the exit. So you are trying to bring your car to the straight line as early as possible. On the exit, make sure you use all of the track. I have used pretty much all of the track. While your right tires are behind the white line, that's good. If you go wider, then I guess that's a track cut. So you use all the track here. And for the next corner, our braking reference is not 100 meter, but that's this material change. And you want to start braking either exactly at it, either a little bit before. You can see that I applied the brakes even before, but my braking was not that hard. It was like medium amount of brakes. So you brake on a straight line, and then you are aiming for the late apex, opening the throttle. And for the next corner, again, you want to use all of the track here on the right, but it's quite tricky. It's very easy to cut a track cut. If your tires are touching, if your right tires are touching this line, it will be a cut. So I prefer to leave just a tiny amount of space to be sure. I guess if you're hot lapping, you can go wider. So using all of the track here, and you are aiming to cut the next corner with your left tires. It is important that here it's quite a small straight line, so you do not do this corner in a common way. So commonly in like right track driving, you would hold the brakes until the here, and here you would open the throttle. But by the experience, it's not gaining you any time, because the straight line after that is too small. So what approach actually works here? It's to carry a speed through this corner, start accelerating quite late, because it's acceleration 1, 2, it's like less than 3 seconds. And what's really important here, after that, it's a huge straight line. You can see how long is it. So obviously we are prioritizing the exit on a straight line. You really want to bring your car to the left side of the track. You really need to use all of the track on the left. You can see how much track I used, basically all of it. My left tires are almost hitting the grass. Yeah, so you're bringing the car all the way to the left. Make sure you align your car straight, and only then you are applying brakes. And here important, you are not applying a lot of brakes. You need to maintain as much speed as it's possible. So you're applying like 30% of brakes, and you drop it like immediately. And you hold car approximately at 5%, 7, up to 10% of the brakes until the apex point when you're already opening the throttle. So you can see how little brakes I do. And then I'm not sure if you will even see that on the recording, because it's literally like 3% of the brakes. You are slowing car down just a tiny bit, and then you are carrying car on the brakes until the apex point. Make sure you open that throttle early, because again, huge straight line, and the earlier you will stand on the gas, on the throttle, the more time you will gain here. So early apex, opening the throttle, taking all of the track here, and going full gas. For the next corners, my braking reference is 50 meters mark. I prefer to brake less and a little bit earlier. You can actually brake after or at 50 mark, but then you'll have to hit a brake like really hard. I prefer hitting the brakes less, but doing it a little bit earlier. So basically slowing down just a tiny bit. Again, take a look how much of the track I'm cutting. A lot on entry. Just a lot on entry, a lot on exit. Trying to carry as much speed as possible. For this corner, don't try to make it double apex or late apex. So you're doing a constant apex here. Maintaining the speed, opening the throttle quite early. Actually, another thing. Very often I see how people are actually crashing right here. Why is it happening? Because they are trying to brake really late. You should lose all of your speed before you enter in this corner. You shouldn't really brake here. It will crash your car. You lose all the speed before you entering this corner, and at the middle of the corner, approximately at apex, you are trying to apply the throttle already. You shouldn't brake here. If you will brake here, you will crash. So you're applying the throttle. For the next corner, make sure you use all the track. Braking right here, and you're trying to hit this apex. I missed it actually. You can see that it's like half a meter, maybe even a meter to the apex mark. I missed it, but you shouldn't. You should open the throttle really hard here. Once you open the throttle at that mark, for quite a long time, you should not close the throttle. So you open it right here, and you go full throttle all of this straight line. Here you also should not lift at all, full throttle always applied. Maybe only exception is like the very first lap when your tires are cold, and that's it. You are always going full throttle here. Make sure you're not applying too much of the steering. You can see that it's just couple degrees. If you will apply too much of steering here, your car will go understeer and you won't make this corner. So just a tiny amount of the steering and full gas. Full gas, full gas, full gas. We are carrying the full gas up until here. Here it's quite hard to find some reference. You just sort of have to look at the next corner and feel where to start applying. You can search for some braking references, like maybe there is some white line on the right fence, but for instance, you should just look at the next corner and feel where to start braking. So braking here is tricky. You brake less when you are approaching the first corner, and then you are applying more brakes when you're approaching the second, and you are rotating the car. When your car already start looking to the right side, you should already start opening the throttle. You open the throttle quite nicely, and here is the place when actually a lot of people are losing a lot of time. So you should not brake hard. You should not brake hard here. So how a lot of guys are doing these corners? They are braking hard here, then they are attacking this curb, and then they start to open the throttle already here. That's not how you do it. Up until this point, you should carry the speed. You should carry the speed by applying a tiny amount of throttle. You're applying just tiny amount of throttle. You attack this curb. Make sure that when you are attacking this curb, you either hit the brakes for like 3%, 5%, or you are releasing the brakes like at all. Because if you will have too much of weight in the front of the car, you will just crash here. And then you keep carrying the speed, and when your car is already looking to the left, you are applying the throttle. Next corner again. It is after this corner there is a huge straight line. Huge straight line. Straight. Like it's never ending. So again, you want to prioritize the exit. So basically entry to this straight line. To make the entry to the straight line the best, you need to start applying throttle early. So for this particular corner, you should not be greedy. You should start braking like really early. Like you can see that I put my car on the left of the track and I start applying brake immediately, and I open the throttle when my car is taking the curb. So basically at the point when car hitting the curb, even a tiny bit before, I'm already on throttle. Yes, obviously you are losing a bit of time here, like half a tenth, maybe 1/10, but you will gain several tenths in a straight line because you managed to apply the throttle early. Going full throttle, going full throttle, and the next corner, you should not brake here. You should lift just a tiny bit, and your marker is this asphalt, which is going to the left. Yeah, there is a 79 sign, but I would not look at it. I would look at asphalt, and basically when you are approaching this asphalt, you are releasing the throttle, you are lifting the throttle just a tiny bit, You are throwing your car to the right. Your eyes should already be looking at this corner, at this apex, and you are back on throttle again. So once again, approaching this asphalt, lift, steering, throttle again. Lift, steering, throttle. So you should not drop a throttle a lot here. And the tricky part here is how you work with your eyes. First of all, you look here. When you understand where your car is, you straight away look at the spot when you want to bring your car on. So just a tiny lift. Next straight line is just a straight line. Here, actually, again, depending on the weather, depending on the wind, you actually can go full throttle here, but in most of the cases you will lift just a tiny bit, same as in previous corner. So your marker is this 5 km mark. Basically, when you're approaching it, you make just a tiny lift, throw your car, and then you must be back on the throttle again. And you actually must, because if you won't help your car with the throttle, most probably it will spin. You're throwing the car up, and if you are playing too safe here, your car might spin. You really need to handle your car to help your car to stay on the track with the throttle. So just a tiny lift and throttle. Your next braking reference is the end of this curb. Again, depending on how fast you go, depending on the weather, you actually can make it already starting to brake when you're approaching it. I start to brake earlier, just maybe I'm not applying that much of brakes, so it's always your choice. You can brake a tiny bit later and doing like really a lot of brakes, or you can start applying the brakes earlier and doing less brakes. Usually braking earlier can help you with carrying more speed, so I prefer to brake earlier, and I start to brake approximately one car before this ending curve. Braking, aligning your car to the very left of the track, and you must be already looking at the corner. Your eyes are here. You can downshift if you feel that you're going too quick. I'm downshifting frequently, sometimes just staying on a third, but when you are applying the throttle, you must be already on a third. You're applying the throttle really hard, because next is again the straight line. full throttle obviously. So your next reference is either this graffiti, either this white mark. I apply a tiny amount of braking before I'm approaching this white line, throwing the car on the left, and I'm back on throttle. Don't try to cut very a lot, but you should cut this curb. If you cut it too much, you will crash. If you don't cut it, most probably you're going too slow. So you should cut it, but make sure that your right tires are not touching this curb. Left tires cool, right tires nah. A little bit of throttle here. Just try to raise your minimal speed a tiny bit. And when you want, so you are looking for this, that looks like a crosswalk, and apply the brakes before the crosswalk. Here it's quite important to not to try going straight away to the right. So you are aligning your car to the left. You are going a little bit straight. You can see that I am doing this intentionally. You are going a little bit to the straight, and only then you go to the right. If you will go to the right straight away from here, then you will hit this curb and it will slow you down. So you go straight just a tiny bit, then to the right, applying the gas. Make sure you are not hitting the gas that aggressively. Again, if you can just hit the gas like 0-100, it means that you are going too slow. You are playing around, opening the gas carefully. Just full throttle, full throttle, full throttle. So here obviously you should use all the track on the right, and you have couple of options. Again, you can make a lift, do this corner with a lift. For better stability, I prefer to apply just a tiny amount of brakes, again up to 5%. Applying just a tiny amount of brakes, 5%, and approximately at a crosswalk, maybe a little bit before, I'm applying a throttle again. I do not feel that I'm losing any time here, but it feels very safe to do this corner this way. Not being greedy in the next corner, apply the brake earlier, so you can start rotating the car to the next corner quite early. If you can start braking approximately here, but then you will have to drop so much speed so you can make the next corner. So again, not being greedy, start to brake early, hitting the very late apex. So it's not an apex yet, not here. Hitting very late apex and opening the throttle quite aggressively. For the next corner, it very depends on the wind, but usually you want to start braking approximately between these two white borders. You don't hit the brakes too hard because your car is going downhill. You already have a lot of weight on the front of the car, and if you will smash the brakes, you will be falling to the ABS quite easily. So braking like up to 50% max, and aiming for the late apex for the second corner, I guess. So basically we're ignoring this place, this corner, and we're aiming for the late one. Applying the throttle early, taking left curb. Next corner you are doing full gas. Obviously to make it full gas you have to align the car to the very right. Going full gas, not lifting. For the next corner it's quite tricky one. Again, you should start applying the brakes quite early, but not a lot of the brakes. It's approximately 30%, 25% of the brakes, I guess 25. And stay outside. If you will go inside, most probably you will die, or you will drive just really slow. So aiming to stay outside, applying just a tiny amount of brakes, carrying the car on the brakes, and we should start opening the throttle quite early. You can see where I opened the throttle. You should do approximately this way. For the next corner, again, there is no any strict braking references. I personally just look at the corner itself and kinda try to feel the distance before it, and applying the brakes are approximately here, basically. So I cannot help you with the braking reference here. You just should look at the corner. You can look at this white mark and start applying the brakes like second after you passed it. You can look at this black sign, but yeah, I'm just doing my best to feel it. Braking again, not that hard. If you will brake really hard here, again your car is going downfield, too much weight on the nose, you will just block your front tires and you will end up in this wall. So this corner, you are not trying to brake late, you are trying to brake early and not that much amount of brakes. So you can see that my maximum amount of brakes is, yep, up to 50% of brakes. Bringing the car to this apex point, and we want to open the throttle hard when we are hitting this apex point. So basically we are carrying and boom, you just hit the throttle, you never close the throttle. Next one, again, as for the line after this corner, it's very small straight line. So here again you can benefit not from braking hard and then accelerating hard, but from carrying the speed. So I start brake quite, so your mark is end of this curb. I start brake quite earlier than the end of the curb. I'm not braking a lot and I'm just carrying the speed through this corner. So braking and carrying. You can see that I opened the throttle already when my car is just here. You can try to brake hard and then open the throttle here, but from my experience it's just slower. So you try to carry your car on the brakes, you carry the speed, and when your car is already aligned straight, then you can open the gas and it will last for like 2 seconds. Next one, as I already told a lot of times by this video, a long straight line, and especially it's going uphill, so you want to be on the throttle as early as possible. To get on throttle as early as possible, you should start braking early. So you brake really early here, align your car straight, and you should be on the gas when you are already starting to go uphill. So you're going uphill already with the gas. It's very important. People are losing so much time here. Obviously full gas. And next corner, I will tell it once again. It's again a corner before the huge straight line. So again, we are braking earlier, we start to accelerate earlier. My braking reference here is this sign, not the black one, but this triangle. I start to brake on a triangle, not hitting the brakes that hard, but quite noticeable braking. So start brake here, your car should be on the left. Start turning the car and you should be on the throttle when already approaching this corner. So again, trying to stay on the throttle as early as possible, using all the track, and then you will be Gucci. And then you're just going full throttle, obviously. You don't switch to the 6th gear. For the next corner, you should lift, but it's important not to lift a lot, because at such speeds, it's so much easier to lose a speed than gain a speed. And each extra kilometer per hour than you will lose here, it will affect your next straight line. So you are aiming on the right, you can see this extension. And when you are approximately at the middle of this extension, you are lifting the throttle, but just like 20% tops. You're lifting, you are throwing your car, and you should be back on the throttle really early. Again, if you will try to make it safe, most probably it will be unsafe. If you will try to lift a lot, most probably your car will lose a grip and you will have to either slow down a lot, either you will just crash the car. So don't be afraid. Make just a tiny lift, drop your car and throttle, throttle, throttle. You should maintain your car with the throttle. Next corner, do not releasing the throttle. Yeah, it's quite scary, but once you get used to it, you get used to it. Full throttle here as well. For the next corner, braking reference is start of the curb. Again, either you brake on it, either just a little bit before. Don't be greedy. Better to brake a little bit earlier. You should align your car straight. You should not brake there, you should not brake like this, like this. You just align your car like straight and close to the left side of the track. It's very hard braking. Make sure you're braking with your downshifting as well, not just with the brakes. Turn your car, opening throttle quite nicely, don't be too rude with it. And for the next corner, your braking reference is this the cornering of the track. So basically you should start braking just a tiny bit before it. So because of this banking, you can actually carry much more speed than you expect you can carry. So you are going to this carousel quite quick and you start applying the throttle immediately. And when you are passing this white thingy, that's the marker for you that you should already start applying the throttle fully. Carousel kinda spills you over it and you keep going full throttle. Here you do not release the throttle, you just go full throttle. And you are aiming with your eyes on this curb. You should not attack this curb, but you should be really close to this curb. Once you're approaching this curb, you switch your eyes from the curb to next corner. You apply just a tiny amount of the brake because track goes uphill and your car will lose a lot of speed already just because of going uphill, and also it will have a lot of grip because you're going uphill. So you are applying just a tiny amount of brakes when you're approaching the curb. You start rotating the car and you must be on a throttle back again really quick because you're going uphill and your car is losing a speed really quick. So throttle, throttle, throttle. And you are aiming to get on this curb, like fully on this curb. So again, depends how much speed are you driving with. You can either just lift a bit if you are going if you align your car on the left. Either in my case I did not did it perfect, so I have to apply just a tiny amount of brakes to rotate the car. But basically you need to switch when your car looks. Yep. And be back on the throttle again. It's very important when you are going uphill to constantly be on the throttle because you are losing so much speed just going uphill. Back on the throttle, and here I should introduce a counter how much time I told it, but you should not be greedy. You should not be greedy here. You should start braking really early. Basically, once you are approaching this curb, you already start braking. Not hard, just like 20% of the brakes, but you should start braking. Either way, you will have to brake really hard afterwards because I see many people start to brake like here and they have to brake really heavy braking. They're losing so much speed and they're losing very much on the exit. So you are applying the like 20-25% of the brakes immediately and you rotate your car to the late apex of this corner. This way it is quite quick. For the next corner, obviously right-hander, so you align your car on the left of the track. I prefer to lift just a bit so car stays on the right, depending on your setup. If you have some esports setup, maybe you can do it full throttle, but if you are esportsman, then most probably you don't watch this video guide. I am lifting just a tiny bit so I can align my car here. And when I'm approaching end of the curb, I apply a tiny amount of brake and start turning the car to the left. Your goal here, I actually haven't succeeded, but your goal here is to cut this left curb really hard. I barely touch it, so I carry it too much speed. Yeah, so all this way you are applying tiny amount of brakes. You should cut this left curb, and then you must cut the right curb. Depending on how you go, you can apply just a tiny amount of brake, you can just lift a bit, maybe if you're going too slow, you can even not do anything with the throttle and go full throttle, but it's important to keep the line here. Very important to keep the line here. If you feel that you have not enough rotation, just apply again tiny amount of the brake to help the car rotate. You go really quick, so the braking mark here is the end of this curve. You start braking before the end of this curve, and you are aiming for the apex. Again, car is going uphill, losing a huge amount of the speed, so make sure you are not throttle really early. Don't try to step on the throttle late, you will just lose huge amount of time. You're applying the throttle quite early. The car should throw itself on the left of the track. I actually haven't cut this this space, but you can also cut it. Your next braking reference is that so you try to align your car on the right of the track. Your braking reference is this black mark. Start braking a little bit before to brake less, or exactly this black sign, but you will have to brake really with a big amount of braking. Carrying the speed here, opening the throttle. Important to use all the track. You are cutting a lot. You start to brake just a little bit before you're approaching the end of the curb. You brake hard. And that's, I guess, that's like a perfect 90 degrees. Almost perfect 90 degrees. So you should start accelerating exactly at the middle of the corner. Before middle you brake, you use your brakes to rotate the car, and exactly at the middle of the corner you heavily opening the throttle, and make sure you use all of the track on the exit, so you can see how much of track I am using. Basically, yeah, just make sure your right tires are not behind the white line, and I will tell it once again for the next corner, don't be greedy. Again, the track is going uphill, and you want to be on a throttle quite early. To be on a throttle quite early, you should brake earlier. And you are looking here, you can take as a reference end of this curve, but you should really start applying the brakes quite early. You're braking quite early, you're aiming on the late apex, and as we are going uphill, you should try to open the throttle quite early. Use all of the track in the left, like all of the track. Yep, basically you can see that my left tires are almost on the gravel. Approaching the next corner, you should look at the apex when you are searching for a place to brake. Basically, when the track goes uphill, you can see that it goes straight, a little bit downhill, and then immediately uphill. When the track goes uphill, you start applying the brakes. You are looking here, but you are kinda ignoring this apex. Like, don't look at this apex, just ignore it, and search with your eyes at the place when you want your car to be. And when you want, where you want your car to be is this curb. So basically, while you are turning, yes, you look at the apex, but you search with your eyes for this curb. When you see this curb, you start ignoring the current apex and you try to cut. It. I haven't cut it actually that much. You can cut it much more. Next one is jump. So make sure you release the throttle before the jump, and make sure you release the throttle nicely. So don't like, it shouldn't be really quick. It shouldn't be on off. Be polite with the car. Close the throttle nicely. Make a jump, and after you land it, you start braking and you start turning. Again, you can see that the brake is not that heavy. Again, it's less than a half. I guess that's exactly a half. Because if you will brake hard here, again, most probably you will spin. You do not brake that hard. 40-50% is more than enough, and you already start rotating the car. Once you see that your car is ready to go to the right, start applying the throttle. Please do not try to find some places like I brake until here, I open the throttle until here. It won't work everywhere. So here, yeah, you perfectly should start applying the throttle like somewhere here, but it depends on your speed and it depends on your car. Try to feel the car, try to position the car to the right, and when you feel not the car itself, but the nose of the car. And when you feel that nose of the car is already looking to the right and you can open the throttle, you open the throttle. It could be sometimes later, sometimes earlier, but you should listen to your car, not just blindly following the lines and the marks. You're opening the gas, never closing it. Next corner. Yeah, so here you don't close the throttle. You don't close the throttle, you go downfill. And here you can see this white, it's not a square, but a rectangle, I guess. So you should position your car to this rectangle and nicely turn the wheel. You can also notice, because it's very a lot of the speed, and because the track is going uphill again, the car is having hell a lot of the grip, like so much of the grip. And if you will be rude with car here, it will listen to you and it will go to the wall. So you should apply the steering really nicely, just a tiny amount of steering. You can see how it's just a few degrees. It's more than enough to rotate the car. So you're trying to bring the car to this rectangle, and at this white rectangle you are just applying tiny amount of the steering to the right, and it's completely enough. The next corner is very beachy. It's very beachy because if you will take a look on the track itself, it's not straight. So basically here you can see that like 3/3 of the track is going to the right, but 1/3 is going a bit to the left. It has a banking to the left, and especially straight after this curb, if you will try braking here, staying on the left of the track, you will crush your car. Because on the right side there is a tiny amount of braking, but on the left it's completely straight and even have a banking a lot of the left. So either if you are braking earlier, you should align your car on the center of the track, not to the left. If you want to use all of the track, it's quite hard to use all of the track here. Actually, you can get used to it, but it's very tricky. You can crash your car. So much people are crashing car here. So you better not take all the track on the left. You align your car closer to the middle, so you are really safe to open the braking. So you are passing the end of this curb. I'm not sure if it's correct to name it curb. You're passing, you go like for a half a second, and when you see, you basically look on the track, and when you see this heavy banking, because you can see that the track is mostly straight, and then bam, heavy banking. So when you see this banking, you are braking a little bit, just to rotate the car on the corner. And after that, you're carrying the speed here, and you are trying your best to bring the car to the right. You're bringing the car to the right, and again, don't be greedy here. If you will be trying to carry too much speed, then you won't be able to make this corner, and you will either have to slow down too much, either you will end up in this wall. So you should slow down quite significantly, so your car knows is already looking like to this shade. Uh, you should use your eyes here to understand where you are according to the next straight line. And when you see that the car is already ready to hit the right curb but not go over it, you open the throttle. You attack the right curb just a little bit. And for the next carousel, again, there is no any good braking reference. Maybe you can take a look at graffiti if you want, but because you're going downhill, it's hard to find them like from the far. So what I do is just I'm looking at the carousel, I try to feel the car, and I try to feel where I actually have to start braking. So I start braking approximately here. I guess you can take as a mark the start of graffitis. Attacking the carousel, it's important to go all the way down. If you won't use all the carousel in down, then it will spill you over. So you use all the carousel down. And the next sector, guess what? That's the corners before the huge straight line once again, and it's very important. So what's the references here? You are looking at this curve, at this white and red lined curve, and you are aiming for the center of this curve. At the center of this curve, you are not braking, you are releasing the throttle. So you release the throttle when you are approaching middle of this curve. You throw your car to the right, and then you start applying the throttle once again. Why? Because you are going uphill. You have a lot of grip, and you are losing a lot of speed when you are going uphill. So you should really carry as much speed as you can. So you lift almost fully lift, but I saw some aliens do like a 80% lift. Maybe that's a setup or wind or something. But make sure you are on throttle back again quite early. And here it's very important to understand what's the geographics or how to name it of this track. So it go up, and then it go down. While you are going up, you have a lot of grip on the front tires. While you are going down, you don't have a lot of grip on the front tires. So what you want to is start turning your car when it's going uphill. If you will rotate your car when it's already going downhill, you will fail. You will have to slow down a lot. You will have to release the throttle a lot. So once again, middle of the curve, releasing the throttle, throwing a car, throttle. You are going uphill, and when you feel that it's about to go downhill already soon, you release the throttle. You lift the throttle again, not a lot, like 80%, 70% of the throttle you must carry, and you are rotating the car. And here you should really develop a trust between you and your car, because it sort of feels like that you won't do this corner, but you actually will do this corner. So play around with the active reset and develop a trust with your car, because so you're rotating the car while you are going uphill, and you apply full throttle when you're already going downhill, and it should feel like you won't make this corner just a little bit, and this way you will make this corner. Just develop a trust. Oh, and you see that car is actually hitting. And my straight line exit is quite good. Next one, you can make a coffee, eat something or so. You do not release the throttle up until the second curb. So you go. First curb, okay. You know that okay, soon I will be braking. You see the second curb, and you should start braking a little bit before of this curb ends. Again, because after that there is a straight line, and if you want to start applying the throttle early, you need to start braking a little bit earlier. You can brake quite late, you can brake approximately when this curve ends, but then you will sacrifice your exit, and for what? I do not see a reason for doing that. So applying the brakes a little bit before we are approaching the end of the curve, taking all of the left here, all of the track left here, and we want to cut we want to cut this curb quite a lot, and we want to hit the throttle really hard when we are on this curb, even before. And this sector is going full throttle. Again, it kind of feels that car should not make it, but because you're going uphill, you have more grip, and the car actually makes it. So before approaching the curb, you smash the throttle, and you never release it. And that is it. I'm not sure how much, almost an hour I'm recording this, and that is 52.9. Thank you for watching it. Please, if that's helpful, just leave some comment. It would be really nice for me to know that I helped at least someone with such a track guide. And if you want some another track guide, just write it to the comments, and I will make another one. Thank you. Bye bye bye.